Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Star Blast Studios coming here with a brand new video. And today here, folks, we're going to be taking a look at the new S.H.Figuarts Bulma from Tamashii Nations and Bandai. So before we get right into it, let's just take a quick look at the box. So we got the box right here, as you can see, with this pose right here, is basic style box. Here's the side of the box. Here's the back of the box. Here's the other side of the box. Here's the bottom of the box. No one really cares about the box, so let's just get right into this figure. Alright, so looking at this new S.H.Figuarts Bulma, I gotta say, this thing is a really good figure, and if I were to put it on a scale of 1 to 10, I gotta give it like an 8 out of 10. And usually you'd say this kind of thing at like the end of the review when you're kind of done with it, but I kind of want to say this right now just because of the fact that in terms of this figure and in terms of just the design choice in general for this, I just don't agree personally with using this kind of how should I say, this design for Bulma, okay? Bulma was never in this outfit except for that one time in the credit scene for Dragon Ball, and you know, they've used this outfit a lot when it came to the actual art for Dragon Ball. You've seen her in this outfit in Dokkan Battle, you've seen her like this in a lot of other merchandise that they sell. This is the first time we're actually getting Bulma, and I gotta say, okay, it's a great figure, but I just don't think this represents Bulma for who she actually was in Dragon Ball. Okay, so what I mean by that is the outfit design. Like I said before, the outfit design, she just never wore this, except for in the credits. I'm repeating myself at this point, but I feel like that's a very important factor due to the fact that Bulma has worn all sorts of different outfits, okay? And it's like, I understand that they needed to make this and more so of an action figure, especially for Bulma, since she kind of deserves a spot in the S.H.Figuarts line in general, due to the fact that she has been there since the very beginning of Dragon Ball. She's always been a very important character. She's always had a role in Dragon Ball. She's just really that one helpful person that can help you out with practically anything in that world. And if you wanted to have her like posed around, like say Resurrection F, you can't exactly do that. They chose to give you this design. And part of the design flaws that I find with this thing isn't actually like the flaws itself, but if you're going to be using this design and then giving her accessories like a gun and whatnot, I would think that would need to be like something that would be represented in the faces. So before we get into the actual articulation of this, okay, you can see the detail right now. I'm not going to get too much into it, but yeah, you can see the detail of this figure. Let's get into the actual accessories real quick, and then we'll get into the articulation. Okay, so starting off right here, we have a submachine gun, okay? And this thing right here is done pretty well if the camera would focus. Okay, it sounds like one of my older figure reviews that I did when I was younger. So yeah, now that the camera's focusing, I gotta say that the detail on here is pretty well. It's just the paint on here, it's just a flat color. There's no shading or anything like that, but you know, you don't really need it. I like the gunmetal that they chose, and it's done pretty well. And for another thing, we have a pair of goggles, which you're basically supposed to put this on the figure right out of the packaging, but you know, since it's kind of one of those things where it's already from the figure when taking it out, so it's like, it's an accessory. That's what you do. You can choose to pose her with this, or you cannot. And another thing right here is a 5-star Dragon Ball, which means that she is part of the Dragon Ball line, where you could put this Dragon Ball and collect all 7 with all the figures in the Dragon Ball line to put on Shenron's power-up thing which made him summon. I mean, if you couldn't tell, she's already from Dragon Ball. I mean, well, she has a Dragon Ball now, so it's like, yeah. And then what we have right here is what we used to find the Dragon Balls, and that is the Dragon Radar. And I'm kind of glad that we got a Dragon Radar now with the figures, man. It's like, you get to, for stop motion animation, and it's like for taking pictures and whatnot, if a character is trying to find a Dragon Ball, then this Dragon Radar will definitely help out in terms of accessories. So we're pretty much done with that. This Dragon Ball right here is actually rolling around quite a bit. Let's get into okay, I'm gonna just put this Dragon Ball off to the side in the box right here, just because it's like it won't stay still, for the love of God. And as for the hands, we do have this one fist, only a right fist, not a left fist. And this did come out of the box connected to the figure, and I gotta say, it's done pretty well for the fist and for the design. Not much more to say about it. We also have right here a Dragon Radar holding hand, which you can take the Dragon Radar and put it in there. Basically, you get it in there in a certain way to make sure you get this part in from the top, and then you just, yeah, and now it looks like the Dragon Radar is sculpted into the hand, and I really like how that comes out. Moving on to the next hand, the actual two pairs of hands that we have for each arm is like these couple of relaxed hands. Done pretty well. Again, not much more to say about them. It's expected. Oh, you can't even see it. There we go. Now you see them. And now what we have here on the left one is a regular pointing hand. And this one, I'm not sure exactly what you want to do with it, but I mean, it's like if Bulma wants to, if you want to pose Bulma like winking and pointing at you, you know, you could do that. Right here on the right side, we have a gun holding hand, which you just put the submachine gun right there into her hand. The finger itself doesn't go around the trigger, but it's pretty good, close enough. I mean, she's not even going to be shooting the gun most of the time unless that's what you want to pose her in, which in that case, I guess it's kind of let down if you really care that much about the details of it. This hand, we already went over. So what we have right here is another relaxed style hand, but this is the kind of hand that goes with this hand right here, which I'll just take out and show you. Basically, it's one of those poses that you do, or it's like Bulma is like tightening her glove, and she's pulling down on that part from like right there, and yeah, that's what these hands are for. And this hand, I'm not sure. Did we go over this one? Actually, yeah, it's another submachine gun holding hand, but this one you hold in the left hand. I guess I should have gone over this one with the other one, but I didn't. I guess I didn't fully analyze all of the hands perfectly yet. But yeah, that's about it for the hands. And now for into the faces. This right here is kind of where I have a little bit of an issue with the figure. So all of the faces are done really well. We do get a basic smiling face right here. And then we get another face right here where she is winking and smiling. And then we have another face right here where I guess she's laughing and looking off to the side. Like she's looking off to the side. And now the problem that I have is, like, if you're going to be giving Bulma, and you're going to be making a Dragon Ball version of Bulma, why are you going to be giving her just 3 basic expressions? Like, all of the expressions, okay, you can kind of pose Bulma in, like, okay, for this one, okay, you don't exactly need this face. I think you'd be good with this face if you're posing her, like, while she shows off the Dragon Ball, like, here on the... Okay, no, you can't actually see it, but, yeah... I feel like there's just not enough expression to differentiate these faces enough. If you're gonna give Bulma a gun, at least give her a face to kind of go with that gun where she's kind of serious. Because you know, in Dragon Ball, she always got angry, and it was always part of that wacky humor. But now when she's holding a gun, she's always gonna be like, and that's kind of where I have the problem with this Bulma is you shouldn't have given her these faces if you're going to be giving her a gun in the first place. I know it was part of that design, but you know, if you're going to be making a figure to pose it around with, then you need a wacky face or like an angry face and like that kind of face like someone uses when they're shooting a gun. And now they're just going to look like creepy and haunting when they're shooting that gun. Like this thing is about to like come up to you in your sleep, and it's just going to shoot you in the gun, and this is going to be the last face that you see before you die. I think I rambled on long enough. That's about it for the accessory. So let's get right back into the figure and look at that articulation. Alright, so we're finally getting into the articulation point of this figure, and actually you can see right here I just put the goggles on because there is no neck articulation that's going to be hindering this. So the head itself, let's start off from the top and go right to the bottom. She can look down this much on the head, she can look up that much, and it is on a ball hinge, so it's like you are going to be swinging it around. If you want to kind of change it, you got to kind of fidget around with the hinge right there, and then she can do that thing where she's like, I don't know why she'd do that, but yeah, for more posability, you can do that with the figure as well. Okay, and for the torso, she can bend down really, really far, just at the torso, and then she can go back up. I'm just kind of combining all the torsos because it's like, it's not going to matter like once you like seeing how much articulation she has in one specific part. As long as you see all the results of everything combined together, that's good enough. Okay, and you saw how much that did. The arms, they are on the regular standard S.H.Figuarts joints, but it's actually the bicep swivel, unlike other S.H.Figuarts, is built into the shoulder. Okay, she can bend her arm in that much, which is pretty far. And then she does have a standard wrist joint for the S.H.Figuarts, where it is on a hinge, so it works out really, really well. Okay, and as for the legs, okay, I didn't actually mention she can kind of twist right here, which, yeah, there we go. As for the legs, she can kick forward out pretty well, and they actually did kind of sculpt her butt, like right there, and she can move back that much. I guarantee you people are going to make fun of you if you have this figure, and it's like, what the heck kind of figures are you collecting, man? Like, I thought you were better than that collecting these kinds of stuff. Okay, and she can bend her knees this much like that. She does it like this as well at the actual knee joint, and this part right here, I'm like, why would you kind of make the knee joints like this in the first place? Because you can see right here that if they actually did one of those things that they did, kind of with the Daisen One Punch Man, you would have a knee joint right here that would also be bending, and then it can kind of go in all the way. But I mean, it kind of breaks the sculpt right there. I kind of feel like that's a missed opportunity for them. Just saying, I feel like that could have been done a little bit better. It's not that big of a deal breaker, but it is still there. And now right here for the feet this foot can go down that much and can go up this much, not too much articulation. And she does have an ankle pivot. You can kind of push it out to be a little bit more, but it is still being hindered a little bit by the boot. And you know what? That is all that there is for the articulation. As for the final thoughts that I have for this figure. So like I said at the beginning of the video, I give this figure in like 8 out of 10. And the reason why is just because even though, like, we've never seen Bulma like this, even though we don't actually, like, this is not a very good representation of Bulma from the original Dragon Ball and, like, the faces and whatnot. For what this is, for what it's trying to represent, I think this figure does its job really well. The articulation is pretty good, and it's actually a really fun figure to pose around, despite the whole thing with the faces not being able to hold, like, not being really matching up with the SMG. But I mean, you can just kind of have her posed around, kind of like what she is posed around at the front of the box right here. So yeah, actually, you can't exactly see it, but she is actually holding the SMG right here behind all of that, like licensing right there on the box. But yeah, I gotta say, guys, if you want to go and pick up this figure, you can do so at Big Bad Toy Store, Xavier Customs, whichever place you want to get this Bulma from. And you know what, guys, that's about it. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you are new here, make sure you press that subscribe button for more stop motions, figure reviews, figure discussions, and so much more. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in the comment sections below. Until then.